Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest Urban Legends video. Once again, I'm mixing two of these in here from the urbanlegendsonline.com website. Both of these, once again, having to do with cautionary tales, i.e. warnings, things to look out for apparently both here in the States and maybe even in other parts of the world. One of them has to do with a common trick that apparently some nefarious people use with tires, and then the other one is a new one that has to do with something involving a perfume salesman. The first one is actually a variation of things. I've heard about a newer version of it just maybe earlier this year, and I'll mention that more here in a minute. But the first one has to do with the flat tire, and the second one is called the perfume salesman. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's share both of these urban legends. And again, I'll give my thoughts and opinions on them afterward. So again, first one is called Flat Tire, and here's what it says. About a month ago, there was a woman standing by the mega mall entrance passing out flyers to all the women going in. The woman had written the flyer herself to tell about an experience she had so that she might warn other women. The previous day, this woman had finished shopping, went out to her car, and discovered that she had a flat. She got the jack out of the trunk and began to change the flat. A nice man dressed in a business suit and carrying a briefcase walked up to her and said, "I noticed you are changing a flat tire. Would you like me to take care of it for you?" The woman was grateful for his offer and accepted his help. They chatted amiably while the man changed the flat and then put the flat tire and the jack in the trunk, shut it, and dusted off his hands. The woman thanked him profusely, and as she was about to get in her car, when the man told her that he left his car around the way other side of the mall and asked her if she would give him a lift to his car. She was a little surprised and asked him why his car was on the other side. He explained that he had seen an old friend in the mall and that he hadn't seen for some time, and that they had a little bite to eat and then visited for a while. But he got turned around in the mall and left through the wrong exit, and now he was running late and his car was clear around the other side of the mall. And so the woman hated to tell him no because he had just rescued her from having to change her flat tire all by herself, but she still felt uneasy. And so she told him she'd be happy to drive him to his car, but she just remembered one last thing she needed to buy. She said she would only be a few minutes. He could sit in her car and wait for her. She would be as quick as she could be. And so she hurried into the mall, told the security guard about what happened. The guard came out to her car with her, but the man had left. They opened the trunk, took out his locked briefcase, and took it down to the police station. The police opened it, ostensibly to look for ID so they could return it to the man. What they found was rope, duct tape, and knives. When the police checked her flat tire, there was nothing wrong with it. The air had simply been let out. It was obvious that what the man's motive was, and obvious that he had carefully thought it out in advance. The woman was blessed to have escaped harm. How much worse would it have been had she waited in the car while the man fixed the tire, or if she had a baby strapped into a car seat, or if she'd gone against her judgment and given him a lift. And then that's it. That's everything associated with the urban legend called the flat tire. So let's talk about that here. Again, these urban legends, they're a mixture of both myth and reality. So somewhere out there, apparently this was happening in parking lots. Well, I guess women were coming up to their cars and then finding the tires, one or more, that was out of air, like it was almost like a flat tire. And lo and behold, it turns out it was because some nefarious people, some men, were essentially using this as a way to gain their trust by changing the tire and then also luring them into an unsuspecting spot. And then, of course, everything bad happens afterward. Now, there's a newer version of this that I hear now, and it has to do with this. I was just reading about this a little earlier in the year on Yahoo, and it states that apparently these thieves or people that assault, they are purposely placing empty water bottles, like the plastic ones that make a bunch of noise, right by the car's tire, but in a way that they can't readily be seen. And so the idea is you get in your car, you turn it on, you move your car, and the tire hits that empty water bottle. And when that happens, there's a clear cracking sound. And so you're wondering what's going on. And so you get out at that point, and that's when it happens. That's when these men assault you or grab you, kidnap you, or steal your car or anything like that, or even worse. And they do it because they know that people's natural reaction is to get out of the car after hearing that strange sound and then being vulnerable at that point because they'll have their door open, they'll still have the keys in the car will still be running. It's that moment that these assaulters are looking for. So that's the variation that I heard of recently. It's not necessarily a flat tire, but it still causes people to put their guard down, and that's what happens. Next one is called the Perfume Salesman, and this is what it says. In recent years, a terror stalks the department stores and malls of America. After an afternoon of shopping, a woman leaves the mall but feels someone behind her as she crosses the parking lot. As she turns around, she sees a salesman armed with perfume hurrying after her. He offers her a spray, insisting that she try it. She refuses, but he persists, saying it's the hottest new fragrance meant to drive men crazy, and it's on sale. And so he won't take no for an answer. Exasperated, she finally gives in and tries it, but she's immediately disgusted. So she gives the salesperson a firm no thank you and then heads back towards her car. As she walks, she begins to feel lightheaded. Everything moves in slow motion. Each step is like lifting a lead weight. The distance to her car seems to stretch out in front of her, and when she finally makes it to her car, she drops her keys and then loses her balance. And just before she slips into unconsciousness, the last face she sees is that of the pestering salesman. There are various versions of the ending of this story. Sometimes the shopper finds the nude body of the woman in the store parking lot. Another version has an ex-boyfriend who is enraged by his girlfriend for dumping him, and so he concocts a sleeping potion disguised as perfume, puts on a disguise, and stalks his former lover to a mall. He uses the perfume salesman's gimmick to spray the knockout potion in her face, and while unconscious, he drags her inside her vehicle, strips her of all her clothes, and takes them, and then he hides somewhere. And when she comes to, she finds herself alone inside her vehicle and completely nude. With her head throbbing, she gets out and groggily goes into the store and tells her story. The ex-boyfriend takes pictures of her while unsuspecting and naked, and later he posts the pictures on the internet for all to see. So there's that one, involved the urban legend of the perfume salesman. So let's talk about that here. That one is new. I haven't heard of anything like that in any stories whatsoever on Yahoo or Google News or anything like that. It just seems like it's too way out there. Like if this were happening somewhere and there was someone using this type of knockout potion, I think it was called, and doing it at a mall, no less, you would think that at the mall there's plenty of cameras around, right? And there's plenty of people there too. No matter what time of the day you go to the mall, there's always going to be cars there and people getting in and out of cars. So even trying it, like at their parking lot, it seems like there would be a lot more witnesses to something like this. On top of that, it seems like the later version of it, like the ex-boyfriend doing this, it wouldn't be long before they're caught, because it would be something where the woman, like whoever that is, that was the ex-girlfriend, would figure it out and then do something afterward to make sure that they're held culpable. It just seems like it's more of a story rather than an urban legend, but again, this is apparently stuff that's mixed in truth. So somewhere out there, somebody was using something like this to be able to do this kind of stuff to other people. And obviously, they're very bad people for doing something like this as well. But let me know what you guys and gals think. All right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.